Hi, my name is Megan Dixon, and I'm the founder and CEO of Rescue Me. I often get asked how I do what I do, and how did I learn the skills or gain the knowledge to run an online virtual services business. And people wonder if it's from my college degrees or where exactly did it come from. And they always think it's college, but truthfully, the answer is no. Despite the fact that I have a bachelor's degree and an MBA, the education I received was not instrumental in the success of Rescue Me. Yes, it helps to have a broader knowledge of business and how businesses work and run, but I truthfully owe it all to the VMF roadmap. This is what happened. I graduated from my master's degree. I have an MBA, and I went on to work for a global PR firm. And the company culture was really cutthroat. I lost my job due to some cuts, and they got rid of a lot of the junior account team. And at the time, I was really upset. But in the long run, I realized it wasn't a fit for me, and I'm not the type of person that's going to step on other people's toes to get ahead. And in the end, I probably wouldn't end up being there anyway. Um, Thereafter, I went back to my hometown, which is in Wisconsin, and I found a job, and that was all that it was. It was a job. It was just something to bring in some money and to get by. And I took it with the promise that I'd be promoted to a different position after 6 months. And after 6 months, you could probably guess what happened. But after 6 months, to my surprise, they ended up bringing an outside hire for the position. And so this position that I was promised was not there for me. And the responsibilities I currently had in that position that I was working, I absolutely hated. It was the worst job that I've ever had. Um, so to this day, I still will say that. And I ended up quitting without notice, and I've never done that in my entire life, and I don't encourage it. But in this situation, um, I had to leave. So next, for a little bit there, I was without a job, and I was on the job hunt again, and I took an event planning job with a family friend. And initially, this job was awesome. I got to rub arms with celebrities and famous athletes and famous broadcasters. And for me, that was so awesome. I mean, I'm a big Packer fan, and I got to rub arms with a lot of the Packers and plan Packer events. And I mean, I was in heaven. But uh, ultimately, I ended up resigning because the owner and I didn't see eye to eye on some things, and it was no longer a healthy situation for me. Prior to resigning, though, I had to plan ahead this time. I found a position at a country club, and I was definitely in heaven with that job too. I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be this is going to be even better than what I had before. And I got golf perks. I'm a big golfer. And I got to keep planning events, and I even could try to incorporate some of the stuff that I was doing before. Um, I don't want to toot my own horn, but people really liked me and loved me, and I never tried to sell them anything. I did my best to kind of guide them through the event planning process, whether that was a golf event or a wedding, and I earned their trust and maintained a really great rapport. And it was not uncommon for me to have repeat customers or referrals. I had a girl that referred me to two of her friends, and they were getting married the next year. And golf outings, charity golf outings, they'd come back every year. they loved working with me, and it wasn't just me. I mean, I had a great team as well. But the con to this position, and I made pretty good money. The con to this position was I worked my ass off. I worked so many hours. I was running the events, but I also was selling the events. So from 8 to 5, I was selling. And from 5 and later, I was running an event, or doing a tour for a to-be bride, or we had private, it was a private club, so we had member events, and I was usually involved in that. So I put in a ton of hours, and in the end, it was all for nothing. The company went bankrupt, and here I was, jobless again. So after a very humbling a year of job searching, I started working for a healthcare consulting firm. And it was not something that I was familiar with. I didn't have experience or a background in the industry, but I learned a lot. And over time, I did start to notice that the company did not treat their employees very well. And I was told, this was really a turning point for me there. I was told that I had to take an hour of paid time off to attend my grandmother's funeral. And I didn't have any paid time off, so I had to leave work an hour early to get to the funeral without pay. And to me, that's no bueno. I'm not okay with that. I don't think you should treat employees like that. But, it's kind of a trend and a pattern. And not all companies are like that. I'm not trying to say that. But it just, for me, I was, I was not happy. During that time, I wanted to pay off some debt. So I took a part-time job delivering pizzas. I had a friend that was delivering pizzas, and I said, "Oh, can you, what kind of money do you make, and can you get me in there?" Because he made more money than serving. Here in the U.S., if you're outside the U.S., here in the U.S., you get less than the standard minimum wage if you are a server, because you make tips. With pizza delivery, that was totally different. You got full minimum wage and you went home with cash tips every night. It was great. So I made some pretty good money. I just had started off, and I wasn't thrilled about it, but you do what you had to do. I wanted to get rid of some of that debt. In the end, it ended up being a blessing because that healthcare consulting firm restructured and my position was cut. And I at least had that part-time income to fall back on, at least for a little while anyway. So this is the point where I absolutely had it. I'm like, the heck with this. This is bull crap. And I no longer was, I knew that, and I decided that I was no longer going to put my heart and soul into a job and work my butt off just to get the shaft. I had to do something different. What? I was completely clueless. I had no idea. Fortunately, during my job search, I was on LinkedIn, and I noticed that one of my former coworkers had a really odd job title. So I started asking questions, and as it turned out, she was a virtual assistant. And after working 6 months part-time on trying to build up her virtual assistant business, 6 months, she left her full-time job to work at home and stay with her kids. I knew as soon as I heard this, I mean, I was worried that it was too good to be true, but I'm like, no, this is what I got to do. Plus, eventually I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I still like to work. I don't want to just, I'm not the type of person that's just gonna, I don't know, sit around, because that's not the right word. It takes a lot to raise kids. But I was gonna, I wanted to do something more aside from that anyway. But I wanted to be able to not have to pay for daycare and watch other people raise my kids. So I decided that was what I was gonna do. And I asked her how she got started, and she recommended this book. And I bought the book, But I ended up being extremely disappointed. It was really vague. It didn't take you through the steps. I was kind of all over the place. I was impatient, so I started working on it. But I was really disappointed and really discouraged. And I didn't want to throw in the towel just yet. I felt like there was something more. I spent a little over a year researching, going on to forums, uh, joining, virtual assistant groups, and trying to see, what other resources are out there. And it seemed like everyone and their mom had, oh, you should try this tool or you should try that. And, I had to be really skeptical. I was, I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have a way to just start dumping all this money into some program. I had to find something that was going to be really useful and of really great value for me to even spend a penny. And I can't remember exactly how I came across Michelle Dale on Twitter, but I ended up coming across her. And that ended up being the miracle I was looking for. I didn't know it at the time, but she had 4 programs, the VA Passport, the VA Shoestring, the VA Apprentice, and the VA Rockstar. Um, the VA Passport is like an encyclopedia of how to videos and tutorials and information. Starting out for me, that was a must. It was a monthly membership at a really reasonable cost. And it was something I could continuously go back to and reference. And, I could quickly say, all right, I need to do X. And instead of researching how to do it, I could just go into the VA Passport and boom, there's a tutorial. And if I forgot, I could go back to it. Plus, the VA Passport has a Facebook support group, a private group. And that was really helpful too because I could go on, I could ask a question, and within a few hours, another group member or Michelle responds or had responded. Usually it was about that time frame for me. Somebody would reply. And even cooler, Michelle, for the VA Passport members, offers a monthly mentorship session at no additional cost. It's included in your membership. And that was really great because it helps keep you on track. And even if you had any questions that maybe you didn't get answered on the Facebook group, maybe you wanted to walk through something with her, maybe you have like an issue with a client and you don't know what to do. That was a great thing for me to have that support and then have all that knowledge and tutorials and how-tos and all that. It was really, really great. So I was so impressed with the VA Passport that I decided to look at Michelle's VA Shoestring. And the VA Shoestring is really where things got started for me. The program helped me properly set up my business on a shoestring budget, which is exactly what I needed. Again, I didn't have a lot to work with. I didn't have a lot of money. I was scraping by. And Michelle walks you through in that program step by step on exactly what you need to do to get started. And by the end of the program, well, actually during the program, she suggests tools and solutions that are free. So another thing that was great. I needed to stick to that budget. But by the end of the program, I ended up having my billing and accounting set up. I had my operational system set up, and I even had a website, which was, again, a must. If you're going to try to run an online business, you have to have a website. And I had no idea what I was doing there for sure. And I must admit that I had some things set up before. I kind of mentioned that when I talked about, the passport in the book, the VA passport in the book that my friend had recommended. But I ended up totally scrapping everything that I had done and following Michelle's program 100%. And so I ended up wasting time on that too, but I decided I am going to forget everything that I did before, everything I set up before, and I'm just going to follow exactly what she says. And that worked out. About 6 months later, I had 3 new clients. And I decided, I think I can do a little bit better. I started getting a little bit of money coming in. And so I took a look at Michelle's programs again and decided that I would take the VA apprentice. And this program was a lot more robust, and was an exact blueprint of what Michelle does in her very successful business. Like, I mean, if she's successful, I want to know what exactly it is that she's doing, because I want to be her. I want to have her business. Even if it's not the same services, or maybe it's a different type of client, I wanted to have, what she had. Anyway, so this was really the turning point for me. That's when everything changed. And I not only got to expand my skill set, but I walked away from the program with a beautiful, beautiful, professionally designed, customized website. I had a new mindset, and I had clients that I wanted to work with instead of had to work with. When starting out, you take clients. It's hard to not take clients that you don't necessarily want to work with when you're so desperate to get things going. And sometimes you don't even know that you don't want to work with those clients until you start working with them. But I had great clients, and my income quadrupled. And my husband and I bought a house, and I went full time in the business. Way cool. That was more than I could have ever dreamed of. I did not expect that. I just wanted to get some income coming in and, start getting a business and working for myself and not having to depend on someone else and have the freedom. And it was more than I could have imagined. I had no idea that I would even think about even buying a house, a year prior. I mean, are you kidding me? There's no way. My mindset changed even more after taking the VA Rockstar. Excuse me. I started to realize my mind was programmed all wrong. The VA Rockstar gave me the ability to recognize my fears and address them and visualize what I really wanted. Things don't just happen. You have to visualize and lay things out and really map out what you want. And I learned a lot of that and how to do that in the VA Rockstar. During the program, though, I realized that one of my clients just was not a good fit. They were taking a toll on me emotionally and even, physically a little bit. I was just so stressed out. I dreaded working with this client, and it kind of stunk because I really liked the client as a person, and it's hard to kind of walk away from that because, I don't want to say I didn't want to hurt this client's feelings, but it was just a difficult decision for me. And so I ended up scheduling a mentorship session with Michelle from the VA Passport. And after I did that and did a little soul searching and finished the Rockstar program, I decided to take a leap of faith, and I fired the client. I was really nervous. And the next morning I woke up and I thought, oh my gosh, what did I do? Oh my gosh, did I make a mistake? Did I make a mistake? Did I make the right decision? This is one of my biggest clients. I'm losing all that income. And you would not believe it, but the very next day, that morning, later on in the day, I got another client that replaced that income. Way cool. It was so awesome. I could not believe it. I could not believe it. I was floored. So a year after that, Michelle released a series of new programs, ones she had never done before. The VA Shoestring and the VA Apprentice, and even the VA Rockstar, a little bit about how to set up a business and get things going in your business. But these programs were a little different because they didn't necessarily have to be for the person that started or wants to start a business. These programs were just if you wanted to learn a skill set or how to better service clients, even if you're working at a job, some of these things can be incorporated. So based on my experience with Michelle's courses, I knew that I had to take these courses. And those courses are the VA Administrator, the VA Marketer, and the VA Creator. And in each of them, she walks you through exactly, and I know I keep saying it, exactly step by step what you need to do for each of these things. And what it is she walks you through exactly how she services her clients in the three different areas. After taking the VA Administrator, I serviced my admin support clients in half the time and in a much more effective way. So obviously that makes them happy. Many of my clients had already hired me for social media services, and after taking the VA Marketer, I was able to better service my clients. I was able to be more productive again in servicing them, and I was able to better guide them and create a strategy specific for what they're kind of going after, what their goals are. I was better able to create that strategy for them, and they got more results, which is great because it makes us look better, makes the business look better. I got to also learn in the VA Marketer how to create press releases, build subscriber lists, and so many more things. And then the VA Creator, that is a gold mine. What it is, and I know I keep saying this, but Michelle literally walks you through step by step on how to offer web design services. Even if you have no background experience, even if you have no technical knowledge, you can totally offer the service, which I didn't think was possible. But there's no guessing work, and Michelle makes it so easy. If you're not sure, you have questions, she jumps right in, she supports you, and to me, that's worth every penny. Every penny. And then just recently, she offered 3 new courses, kind of in the same ballpark as what the other ones did. But they're still in beta. I heard that they might be coming out soon, so maybe we'll see. But these 3 courses have saved me hundreds of hours of research easily. I walked away from the VA the VA examiner. The VA examiner, having learned how to create digital downloads, media kits, ebooks, and preparing for the sale of a digital product. I've used the skills that I've learned more times than I can count. With the way the online world is going, these skills are imperative and so critical to have, especially in that one. The VA Entertainer taught me how to create a magazine, plan and create a successful podcast, how to create videos, and even planning and hosting or setting up a webinar. And then finally, the VA Educator. That course is pretty cool. And there's a lot of buzz around online training and memberships and all that. But the VA Educator course taught me how to set my very own membership site up, and I'm still working through that. For Rescue Me, we're putting something together. Personally, I'm struggling with the content and making that structure versus actually setting it up the way Michelle described. That part's actually easier. You wouldn't think that though. Anyway, having the knowledge from these courses has transformed my business from being a strategist and an admin support virtual assistant to gaining the skills and the know-how that provides me the opportunity to offer premium services. And I can honestly say that if it was not for Michelle and Michelle's guidance and training and courses, I don't even I wouldn't be in business. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. There's just absolutely no way. Um, I would not have made it without her. And it didn't happen overnight, and it took a lot of work. Nothing's easy. Nothing worthwhile is handed to you. But the programs are so great, and I'm forever indebted to her for this wonderful gift. If you guys have any questions about the programs or the courses, go ahead and shoot me an email or come by my website, www.rescuemeassistance.com. That's RescueMeAssistance.com. And shoot me an email or a message and just tell me, if you're looking for suggestions or you have a question about a certain course, or you're wondering, hey, which course makes sense? This is where I'm at in my business or what I want to do. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to answer any questions, and I hope you guys find this helpful. Good luck to you.